Flying with us for the first time, great to have you on board. I'm a real-world Airbus pilot, and today we are diving deep into one of those critical, often overlooked elements of instrument flying: minimum safe altitude or minimum sector altitude as seen on instrument approach charts. We will be breaking it all down right here on Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 using the incredible Fenix Airbus A321, which bring an almost a study level simulation of the Airbus to your desktop. Whether you are a simmer looking to level up your IFRS skills or an aspiring pilot wanting to understanding real-world procedure from a professional perspective, you are in the right place. So buckle up, let's get that seatbelt sign on and taxi into some serious aviation knowledge. Welcome back again to the cockpit, and today we are gonna to have a look in detail about the MSA or minimum safe or sector altitude on board Ajet 5 Delta Lima or Anatolia 5 Delta Lima. First of all, let's go for have an overview about the MSA or minimum sector altitude. Actually, that is on approach chart is sometimes based on a fix like a final approach fix or another navigation point rather than aerodrome reference point, because MSAs are designed primarily to provide obstacle clearance for aircraft transitioning to an approach, not just for the area surrounding the airport. For definition, actually the MSA or minimum safe altitude or minimum sector altitude is defined as the minimum altitude that provides at least 1,000 feet of obstacle clearance within a specified distance, which is usually 25 nautical mile or equal to 36 kilometers from a designated point, often a navigate or fix. It is intended for emergency use, initial approach, or loss of communication situation. But that's important that it's not for en route or terminal operation near the aerodrome reference point specifically. But the point of MSA, how is selected as a reference? For this matter, the MSA reference point is actually chosen based on where the aircraft is likely to be when starting or flying the approach, which often makes the final approach fix, initial approach fix, or a navigation aid like a VOR more relevant than the aerodrome reference point or ARP. But the reasons for this selection is or are actually the aerodrome reference point may not lie near the key navigational or approach element. The other item or reason is that the aerodrome reference point or ARP is a ground-based administrative reference, not necessarily aligned with the flight path. And the third reason is approach paths typically start well away from the ARP or aerodrome reference point, so a point like the final approach fix or initial approach fix is more relevant for obstacle clearance. Stop the elements, words, and also sentences here. If you refer to previous videos from the real operation of the airliners, videos on channel playlist, when we out of an airport or descending into almost the almost the MSA, were based on aerodrome reference point. But today I have an example for show you on this Turkish airport, which is Lima Tango Charlie Whiskey or Hakkari. How they are make a minimum sector altitude based on actually, as you see, a waypoint or fix, which is the name of RNEP. As you can see, RNEP is here, which with the mandatory altitude of 9,300 feet. After intermediate fix of LEMRA, which you can see as a asterisk here, the RNEP is final approach fix for RMP approach runway 11. Let's jump and go into the continuation of the training. Right now toward Hakkari Airport from Ankara, we are entering the holding over initial approach fix FSUL, which be maintaining 13,000 feet and entering the hold over FSUL as published. Operational logic for the MSA is using a fix like the final approach fix, as well as this example today into Hakkari or MSA ensure obstacle clearance where it is most operationally needed. For example, aircraft might enter the terminal area from various directions. Referencing the final approach fix or initial approach fix gives controllers and pilots better situational awareness. The next important logic is train an obstacle near approach paths, but far from the aerodrome reference point, may dictate higher MSAs. As you see here, the higher obstacle is 13,334 feet, which is far from the aerodrome reference point today. And also the Hakkari Airport is located on a high train area. As we see the aircraft outside of the cockpit in external view, you can see how we are now maintaining a 13,000 feet holding over a point of FSUL, and you can see how the condition of the aerodrome about the surrounding area and environment which is located on. Whenever actually in definition you are approaching toward the flat terrain, or actually the airport is located at the flat terrained area, in most of the times the MSA is based on aerodrome reference point. But if the aerodrome is located on the train area, or which actually the train are surrounded the aerodrome, the MSA will change from the aerodrome reference point, and in other way, another word maybe for located will locate on initial approach fix, final approach fix, or any other fixed point. The story is different when you are see or attention to the MSA when you are flying at mountainous area. According to ICAO PANS operation and FAA TERPS, both allows MSA to be based on, as you can see, this chart is based on PANS operation, as you can see at the notation at this area, which is located at the lower part of the chart. This chart is based on PAN's operation, which is actually ICAO design. According to these rules, the navigation aids maybe the MSA should be based on. Except navigational aids as same as VOR and NDB or many other navigation aids, the MSA may be based on a fix. For example, final approach fix or initial approach fix, which is right now is based on final approach fix of RNAP. And the other one is, in some cases, the aerodrome reference point. As an example that in previous flight we showed that most of the MSA were based on ARP. The choice is based on what offers the base operational relevance and also safety, not just the fixed rule. But actually, MSA are centered on the most operational relevant fix, like a final approach fix or VOR, not necessarily the aerodrome reference point. To ensure effective and safe obstacle clearance in the sector aircraft are actually flying through during approach. Let's see about the star, our arrival page based on actually the COP 1 Gulf arrival, which is almost the MSA. As you can see, is based on FSUL, sorry. The MSA is based on FSUL. From the sector we will arrive is almost MSA 15,000 feet is the minimum sector altitude. FSUL is the initial approach fix, and also because of this matter, the MSA is based on FSUL right now on this chart. There are some points for characteristics of MSA. What is the purpose? The purpose of MSA, or minimum safe or sector altitude, is primarily for emergency use, loss of communication or initial positioning to begin an approach. I repeat again, it is not intended for normal en route operation. The other characteristics of MSA is coverage area, usually provide obstacle clearance within a 25 nautical mile radius around a central reference point, such as a VOR NDB, initial approach fix, or final approach fix, or other point rather than aerodrome reference point. Other character of MSA is obstacle clearance. Always provide at least 1,000 feet of vertical clearance over the highest terrain or obstacle in each defined sector, and also it provides the sectors for us in many times. The area may be divided into quadrants, typically 90-degree sectors. As you see here, is divided into two sectors with 180 degrees. Each with its own MSA value depending on terrain and obstacle. It is not based on per navigation. It means the last character of the MSA is not for navigation. MSAs do not guarantee navigation signal reception or controlled airspace actually. They are purely for obstacle clearance just. Thank you very much for joining me on this video as a tutorial about the MSA, or minimum safe or sector altitude. If we return back to this diagram, as a final point, I have to tell you that if this area is not divided in any sectors and just one altitude with no arrows and also vectors and sector, you see here, just you see a single altitude here. It is a minimum safe altitude. But as same as this one, if it's divided into 2 sectors, 3 sectors or more, the name of MSA will return to minimum sector altitude. Hope this video was useful for you, and thank you very much for joining me aboard Anatolia 5 Delta Lima over a holding of Hakkari Airport runway 11. We will back to Hakkari. It's a very beautiful airport and also is a very tricky airport for approach and operation. We will back soon to Hakkari, and also if you do not subscribe the channel yet, I will be glad to see you as a subscriber on BoomerangSimPilot channel. And also if you find this video useful for you, please hit the thumbs up and also hit the bell for notify you about the upcoming videos. Thank you very much again for see and watch this video. Sit back, relax and enjoy the ride as always on board BoomerangSimPilot channel. See you on next upcoming videos. Thank you and goodbye.